Let's talk about the information about brokerage services in Texas. A broker's minimum duty and requirements by law. A client is a person or party that the broker represents. Put the interest of the client above all others, including the broker's own interest. Inform the client of any material information about the property transaction received by other broker. Answer the client's questions and present any offers to the or counter offers from the client, and treat all parties to the real estate transaction honestly and fairly. A license holder can represent a party in a real estate transaction. As an agent from owner, seller, or landlord, the broker becomes the property owner's agent throughout an agreement with the owner, usually in writing, listing to the sell a property management agreement. An owner's agent must perform the broker's minimum duties above and most inform the owner of any material information about the property or transactions known by the agent, including information disclosed to the agent or sub-agent by the buyer or buyer's agent. As an agent to the buyer tenant, the broker becomes the buyer's tenant agent by agreeing to represent the buyer, usually through a written representation agreement. A buyer's agent must perform the broker's minimum duties above and must inform the buyers and any material information about the property or transaction known to the agent, including information disclosed to the agent by the seller or seller's agent. As an agent to both intermediary, to act as intermediary between the parties, the broker must first obtain the written agreement of each party to the transaction. The written agreement must state who will pay the broker and the conspicuous bold or underlined print set forth the broker's obligation as an intermediary. A broker who acts as an intermediary must treat all parties to the transaction impartially and fairly. May, with the parties' written consent, appoint a different license holder associated with the broker to each party, owner and buyer, to communicate with, provide opinion and advice to, and carry out the instructions of each party to the transaction. Must not, unless specifically authorized in writing to do so by parties disclose. That the owner will accept a price less than the written asking price. That the buyer tenant will pay a price greater than the price submitted in a written offer, and any confidential information or any other information that a party specifically instructed the broker in writing not to disclose unless required to do so by law. As a sub-agent, a license holder acts as a sub-agent when aiding a buyer in a transaction without an agreement to represent the buyer. A sub-agent can assist the buyer but does not represent the buyer and must place the interest of the owners first. To avoid dispute, all agreement between you and the broker should be in writing and clearly established. The broker's duties and responsibilities to you and your obligations under the representation agreement. Who will pay the broker for the services provided to you, when payment will be made, and how the payment will be calculated. License holder contact information. This notice is being provided for information purposes. It does not create an obligation for you to use the broker services. Please acknowledge receiving this notice below and retain a copy for your records. So, if you are a buyer or a seller and you are looking to sell your home, you will always get the buyer's information agreement, but please be aware that if you're a buyer, you do want to make sure that you have a broker's representation agreement in place so you can get the best service from your real estate agent.